Well, probably a fair bit of history, I would suggest. Having grown up with horses all my life, race horses, my dad was a trainer, and I just grew up with them rather than Barbie dolls and things like that. I used to go out there and play with all the race horses, and I got to know what they're all about. And I started riding track work when I was 10 years old, rode in races from 17 for another 10 years as well, and just spent all my life with race horses. So I think that's what probably makes me a little bit of an expert. Well, I think here in Hong Kong, one of the easiest things about learning these horses is we've got a limited number of horses, so that you can go regularly to the races and then go and have a look for yourself and then start to get used to what they're all about, whether or not they play up, whether or not they misbehave, whether they look a little shinier in the coat, fitter, carrying a little bit of condition, and if they're walking out well. Walking out well is a big one for me, because if they're not walking out well, they've obviously had a problem, they're going to have a problem, or there's something just not quite right with them. So that's one of the big ones for me. If a horse looks a little lazy in the parade, it's normally because it's got a very quiet, relaxed type of attitude. If it's lazy, sometimes those horses can be a little lazy when they're in races as well, but sometimes they really perk up, and it's just their attitude, and often it's a very good attribute for them to have as well. If a horse is really perky and on its toes, it's normally using a lot of nervous energy, and it can be a little hyped up, not very good for horse racing. Some horses can do this and can cope with it quite well. They do it on a regular basis, so you'll probably get used to those if you go and watch them quite often. So you can ignore a few of them, but generally speaking, you'd rather them be much more relaxed and sort of ears pricked, nice and alert, and just enjoying themselves. What annoys me the most is horses that are sour. I really don't like horses that are sour, got the ears back, want to kick, just nasty individuals. They turn me off a little bit. We've got a couple here, or a few of them here in Hong Kong, and some of them have actually got some ability, and some of them are actually nice types. But when they've got a nasty attitude, it's a bit like a person, you probably don't like them. Oh. Do people come up to me? Yes, they do. Every now and again they do, and I'm on air, and I don't like to be rude. I'm not a rude person by nature, so if they come up to me, I generally have a tough time sort of saying hello or trying to say I'm on air, please, I'll speak to you afterwards. So it's not that annoying, it's just quite nice actually, but yeah, it's a little difficult, that's all. 3 steps on the spot here for if you're first timer going to the races. I'd suggest to obviously go down and see if you can get close to the paddock and have a look at the horses, have a look, see what you think might look all right in your eyes, and just monitor it. Just go very slowly, just have very small bets to start with. Don't do anything silly. I mean, punting is something that you can win a little or lose a little, and if you're just starting out, you're more likely going to lose. But that's probably a good thing, because then it'll make you work a little harder to get better at it. Early tips for the Derby. Well, I hate doing these early tips because there's no barriers, there's no track conditions, there's no jockeys, there's no lead-up track work or anything like that. So I find that quite irrelevant when you're doing it a long way ahead. Obviously, the ones that stand out are the horses from the Gibson yard. I think they've shown a lot of potential, but it's too early for me. I'm not giving any early tips for the Derby.